Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Five Love Podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and I have with me Robert,
Hello.
who is a friend and a foe because because we've played one match.
Just one.
No, we played one singles and one doubles.
Yeah, but the doubles
And
was a practice set.
yeah, but you won both.
It was
So,
counting. It was counting.
I need to get my revenge somehow, some way. It is coming. So Robert, welcome to the Five Love Podcast.
Thank you.
And I usually like to get into asking my guest, how did you get into tennis?
Yeah. So I had an older cousin, 5 years older, and he would come visit our grandmother who lived like a few hundred yards from me during the summer.
Yeah.
And one summer he brought a tennis racket and he was watching Wimbledon. And because he was into it, I wanted to be into it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I never saw him play tennis. I think we never talked about tennis after that, but
Yeah.
that was enough for me to get into it. And then it turned out that my parents had some tennis rackets. My dad played tennis. I didn't even know.
Oh wow.
So once I started hitting the ball against the side of the house
Yeah.
and driving my parents crazy, then my dad was willing to play with me. And that was
Did you break a window?
I did not break a window because there were no windows on that side, but
Okay.
there was a floodlight.
Yeah.
And I broke the floodlight many times.
Did you break anything else?
I never broken it. No, just the floodlight.
Okay.
But that was enough for my mom to say you can't hit the ball against the side of the house anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess if I want to beat you, I'm gonna have to take my rackets and go hit at the side of the house.
Sorry. I don't mean to throw the format, but have you shared your tennis origin story? I feel like I didn't get that in the episodes.
Well, that's a good question and a
You
good
don't have to.
point.
Sorry, you can edit
No, no,
this
no, no.
out.
We can. At the Five Love Podcast, we don't really edit out.
It's okay.
So that's actually a good question. I fell in love with tennis. It was the 90s. And my father, he loved all sports.
Okay.
And so it was a Saturday evening and he was watching, I remember it being Andre Agassi, and I think it was Boris Becker. I could be wrong, but I remember specifically it being Andre Agassi. And I was just like, wow, this is so cool. I want to do this. But growing up in Trinidad, tennis wasn't easily accessible. And so it wasn't something that I could pursue until I became an adult. Um, and I kind of lost interest. But then once Venus and Serena came around, that was it.
Okay.
Game over. And I really just started playing as an adult. So,
But
so
just
now
from
now you know my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to hear your story.
Yeah. All right. So, I know you know this is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear your hot take on tennis.
Okay, so I have two.
Okay.
So the first one is that I think the Grand Slams should go back to having 16 seeds instead of 32 seeds.
I actually didn't know there was 16 seeds only.
So it changed, I think, around 2000, but before that, at least in the kind of when I started watching in the late 80s and 90s, it was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So because I think now the top players, you can't play anyone ranked inside the top 32 until the third round.
Mm.
And I think as a result, you get a lot of just like very one-sided, boring matches.
So you mean like the top eight? The top eight seeds, they don't play anyone outside of the.
Well, because there are 32 seeds,
Yeah.
you can't meet a seed until the third round.
Okay.
So I think that that's helped Federer, Nadal, Serena, all these people rack up slams because generally the first two matches are against much lower ranked opponents.
That's a very interesting take. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that by virtue of being a top seed, you should get some kind of preferential treatment? Because you've worked hard all year round. And so to show up at the slam and have the number one and number two person face each other right off the bat, or maybe like maybe I'm pushing it. Maybe the number one person face the number 17.
That's the high, right?
Yeah.
You could maybe play the 17th ranked player.
Yeah.
So I think you're still getting protection.
Yeah.
Because you can't play anyone in the top 16.
Okay.
I get from the tournament's view, you want to protect those stars and get those high profile matchups at the end.
And the ticket sales.
Yes.
because I feel like they want to make sure that like somebody like 1 or 2 or 1 and 3 meet in the finals so that you
That's
can
what
take
they
your
want, and I
seeders. Yeah,
love that too. I
yeah,
don't I don't like for there to be carnage and then you end up with lopsided matchups.
yeah.
But I think it's making the first week of a lot of slams
Hmm.
kind of boring. Just a bunch of straight set wins for
Mm.
Alcaraz, Sinner, Rybakina. They're just
It's wow. I feel like we could spend the entire day
sorry.
talking about this. It's so interesting because you know, let's say a Serena Williams or Rafael Nadal,
Rafa.
I had to do it. Let's say they got knocked out in week 1,
Mhm.
or like, a lot of the top seeds get knocked out. Like, are you going to have people watching in week 2?
Yeah, I think even when it was 16 seeds,
Yeah.
you still routinely had the top players make it through.
Okay. Okay.
There were
Okay.
upsets, but
I,
they still made it through.
I think I
I think you also just
see.
got some tougher matches
I
as
think
well.
I see what you're saying now. What you're saying is that this would allow for the top seeds to really prove themselves earlier on,
Yeah.
like from okay,
And I
okay,
think it would
okay,
just
okay,
give fans more competitive
okay.
matches in those first 3
This
rounds.
was a good take,
Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you. So,
Okay,
you know what? Let's stop with that one.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
next one.
All right.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
your
you want the
next take.
second one?
Yeah.
Oh. So the second one, I think that maybe the rankings should be like golf. I don't know if golf still does this,
I
but it
know
used to
nothing
be
about golf.
the rankings used to be based on, maybe they are still, a 2-year period.
Hmm.
So your results for the last year count full, but then the prior year is like half. It does mean that the rankings move
Yeah,
less quickly,
yeah.
but I think we see so many players get injured, like we've seen,
Hmm. Hmm.
now Carlos, Grigor
Hmm.
last year, Runa,
Yeah,
and then they plummet down the rankings.
yeah.
And I think there should be a little bit more protection. So it would take you a little bit longer to fall down the rankings. That's the downside. The rankings would sort of be a little bit more static.
Yeah,
But I think that would benefit some of these players who are, I feel like injuries are a little bit on the rise.
especially on glass.
Yeah.
Especially on
So
glass.
yeah, that's my other take. Maybe
Yeah.
not as hot as the seeds, but
Yeah, no, no, the first take really has. I feel like we need to do an episode about that one. I love it. Yeah. All right.
all right.
Yeah, good takes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the blind ranking
Okay.
segment of the podcast,
I'm excited.
and today we are going to be talking about uh the top 5 greatest tennis coaches
Okay.
of all time.
Okay.
Because we focus a lot on the players, but when the players win the slams or whatever titles, they always thank their team,
Yeah.
and a big part of the team is the coach.
She's the coach. Yep.
So
All
let's
right.
get into it.
Let's go. Let's
All
go.
right. Yeah, so I'm gonna do something a little different today.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you all of the names all at once,
Okay.
so you get to rank them in
Okay.
any way you choose, and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Yeah, you have your
I
pen
have my pen.
handy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Okay, so let's go with Nick Bollettieri.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Then let's go with Brad Gilbert.
Okay.
Next on the list, I have Rick Macy.
Oh wow. You've really okay. I'm impressed. Okay.
I did my research. Okay. Then I have Toni Nadal.
Okay. I I have a take on that one. I thought he might
Oh,
be
really?
yeah,
Did
but
you see the documentary with Rafa?
I haven't seen the new one. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
And then finally we have, I mean, come on. Come on. Tell me.
Were you gonna say Richard?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Okay.
Of course. If you didn't say Richard Williams, I would ask you to
Never
leave
know.
immediately. Immediately. Okay.
Okay. So the thing I can tell you now, and yeah, you might not like this take. I'm putting Tony at number 5.
Okay, well, let's start there.
Tony is
Let's
at the
start there.
Tony
Okay.
is at the bottom.
Okay. So, wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But wait. Let me do the rest.
Okay,
Let me do
okay,
the rest. But,
okay.
all right. So I think it's gonna be
Okay, so while he is making his list, I will take the opportunity to let everyone know that I really do appreciate all of the support that I've been getting so far. Continue to like, subscribe, and remember that we are available on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So you have
I have
your
my ranking. Okay. In the moment feeling. In the moment feeling. So I'm putting Bolletary 1.
no. Let's
Sorry. Okay.
let's start with five
You want to
first.
start with 5?
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's true. Let's build the suspense.
Yes. You already said Tony, so let's hear it.
Yeah.
Tony's number 5.
So I think whoever was coaching Rafael Nadal
Mm-hmm.
was probably going to coach him to somewhere between 15 and 17 Grand Slams.
Mm-hmm.
And to date, Tony really has no track record with any other pro, right? He had that time with Felix. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like during that time, Felix regressed a little bit and actually
Mm-hmm.
rebounded after they stopped working together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think if you are, I'm sure he did a lot.
Yeah.
But to me, part of proving that you're a great coach does involve doing it with more than one player and maybe not with just a generational talent.
I hate to say this, but I can agree with you, even though I don't.
You could, but you don't. Like that.
I had Tony as number 2 on my list. And I think what you're saying has a lot of merit to it. I would be a hypocrite if I say otherwise, because on one of the previous episodes I did give Patrick Mouratoglou a lot of heat for
Mm.
not having anyone have success besides Serena Williams.
Yeah.
So I could say that is true. Um, the reason I have Tony as number 2 on my list is because I'm a little biased.
Yes, because of the Rafa book sitting there. Yes.
And also because I think he did something that was pretty genius. Rafa is,
Mm.
in his life, in his real life, he's a right-hander.
Yes.
He only plays tennis with his left hand. And so I think for Tony to come up with that, I mean, you know how it is to face a lefty,
Yeah.
especially that lefty slice. I think that gave Roger Federer a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
and the top spin to the backhand, all those reasons, right? I think that was pretty genius. He was able to coach Rafa to 16 slams.
Was it 16? Okay, before
16
he left.
slams. You
Okay.
did say 16, 17, so you were right on the money. And I think that the mentality that he was able to inculcate into Rafa made a huge difference. If you watch the documentary, you'd probably
Okay.
change your
Yeah,
mind.
it's on my list.
The one thing I would say is that he had Rafa from a young age.
Yeah.
And a lot of the great coaches on this list have their players from a very young age, whereas he had Felix and the rest of them already coming to him with whatever mindset they would have had.
Yeah.
So I can see reasons for and reasons against, but I'm going to stick with
Number
leaving Tony
2.
as number 2.
Okay.
And um, let's go to number 4 on your list, and let's see
Okay.
who
So
you have there.
4, I have Macy.
Vic Macy. Wow. Oh,
And
wow. I had
yeah.
Vic Macy as number 4 as well.
And I would
Okay, high
say
five.
that's probably more about I don't really know much of his resume as a pro coach.
Mhm.
I know he did a lot of the junior development. I know he works with
Yes.
Serena and Venus. I think he worked with Jennifer Capriati when she was young.
Yes, he did.
So I think he is tied to the developmental stages of people who
Yes.
became pros, but most of my view of coaches is formed by people's pro careers.
Yeah.
So I think it's really not a slight on him. I think he kind of easily could have been 5. It's probably like he and
Yeah.
Tony
You
would
just
be.
you just hate Tony. You just hate Tony.
They're kind of
But
interchangeable.
yeah.
I think I do give him a few more points than Tony because
Yeah.
he is at least associated with a number of different players
Mm-hmm.
who
Yeah.
did go on to have successful pro careers.
Which kind of leads back to my point. He got them when they were very young.
Yeah.
So he was able to mold them. But yeah, he did. He was able to get like 4 or 5 players to go on to be number 1 in slams and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you know who else he worked with? I guess.
Andy Roddick.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we named most of the notable players that he works with.
Yeah, that's 4 slam winners, 4 number
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah. Good resume. I mean, according to your better resume than Toni Nadal. So,
Well, Nadal's resume is better than all of those
but
combined.
not
Well, no, not
Serena's,
Serena, not Serena.
not
That's true.
Serena's. But I
That's true.
mean, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3, I have Richard.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So you have Richard as number 1.
What?
I see you have Richard as number 1. You're gonna have some trouble editing your game
I'm
station.
not editing this at all because I want people to understand how
Okay.
upset you have. Richard Williams as number 3.
I do.
Okay.
So I
I think you need to leave.
no, I think Richard is amazing.
Wow. Okay.
But I think we're also talking, so I guess maybe I'm thinking about coaching and professional coaching. I think Richard Williams is a visionary, right? I think one thing that he has over
Yes.
Toni is that Rafa's uncle was a
Yeah.
pro football player, right? So
Yeah.
you had another pro soccer player, sorry, pro
Yes,
soccer
that's
player.
true. That is true.
So you had a professional athlete in the family. I think
Yeah.
that gives you some advantage when you talent spot
Mhm,
Rafa
mhm,
at a young age.
mhm.
Richard didn't have any of that.
And
on his own.
resources and stuff like that too. Yeah.
He was really, as far as we know, working from scratch. And I think that's like amazingly impressive.
Yeah.
He clearly like taught them some fundamentals of the
Mhm,
game.
mhm,
He did have, 2 players that
mhm.
that he helped to develop.
Yeah. One more than Tony.
Yes, one more than Toni.
Yeah.
I think what stops me from putting Richard higher is that I do think people like Rick Macy, there are others who I think they get erased a little bit in the story. And I think some of that is like Serena and Venus have always been very protective of
Yeah.
the title of Richard as the coach.
That's true.
I
That is
think
true.
he might even still be listed as their coach today.
Yeah. Maybe.
How long has it been since Richard's actually coached
Yeah.
Venus and Serena?
Yeah.
So I think what he did in terms of bringing along these 2 Black girls from Compton to like the highest of heights in professional tennis
Mhm.
is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the other people left on this list, to me, just they've proven more as professional coaches. It's kind of like you almost need to have a category for like parents who coach and then people who are just
That is a good
coaches.
category
Because it's
because we
tough
could
to
talk about
compare
like
the 2.
we could talk about like Andy Murray's mom and like okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that you're never ever 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 allowed back on this podcast, but I think that's actually a good category. Let me write that down
There you
right
go.
now. Yeah.
Copyright free right there.
That's a good but I disagree with you 100%
Fair.
though.
Okay.
100%. Okay, so Richard Williams is number 1 on my list.
Okay.
He taught himself to play tennis at a time when you had to get VHS tapes.
Okay. Yeah.
Stop,
Mhm.
rewind, play again. He read magazines. Like you said, he's a visionary. I would go so far as to say he's a genius.
I wouldn't
He
argue with
wrote a manifesto saying what these girls were going to achieve and when they were going to achieve it. He basically brainwashed them into believing that this was going to happen,
right.
and it happened. And I mean, yes, there is a part of the story where the girls did go over to Vic Macy, because Richard could have only taken them so far because he wasn't a professional tennis player or
Yeah.
actual tennis coach.
And that's important, I think, to recognize. Like knowing that limitation is also important. I think we see he also maybe knew when to step back.
And you know what? I think that's what makes him even a better coach because comparing him to Toni Nadal, I think that Toni should have stepped back a lot sooner.
Mm.
I think Rafa would not have been as injured as he was had he not been under Toni pushing him to just continue training and training. So yes, like you're saying, kudos to Richard for knowing when to step back. But for me, he has to be number 1. I think to be able to achieve what he was able to achieve with the limited resources, not having the knowledge, teaching himself, and then I feel like I always have a lot more respect for the underdog. Like, imagine everyone telling you you're crazy, this is never going to work.
Yeah. And a
And then it
sport
happened
where you're not
twice.
welcome
Yeah, like,
at the beginning, for sure.
I don't even think I need to continue this conversation with you because there is no way there's anybody above Richard Williams. But let's find out.
Yeah, I think, Richard Williams, he's like a cultural icon, I
Yeah,
think, in the way that
yeah,
he's more than a coach, right?
yeah,
He's so
yeah.
much more than a
Yes,
coach.
he is.
Yes.
Okay, let me just take a deep breath.
Okay, okay.
Okay, let's find the courage to continue. All right, so then who do you have as number 2?
Okay, so number 2, I have Brad Gilbert.
I had him as number 5.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Gilbert, 'cause I think I associate, I think many people associate Gilbert with Andre Agassi,
yeah.
obviously generational talent,
Mm-hmm.
with Roddick.
Yes.
He had the more recent stint with Coco Golf.
Were you looking at my
No,
notes?
no. Oh, you have those already?
Yeah,
Oh,
looking right
yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
But those are just the people that he worked with who've won slams.
Mm-hmm.
I think and Murray. He did work with Murray
Yeah,
in the earlier years.
yeah. He also worked with me when I won my first slam.
Are we on a time loop when we? But I think sometimes he mentioned in commentary one time he also worked with Kei Nishikori, and he got Kei from like around 100 to the edge of the top 10.
Yeah.
He worked with Sam Querrey apparently, and got Querrey from like around 100 to the edge of the top 10. So I think showing that improvement, even when you aren't working with people who ultimately win slams,
Yeah.
men, women, different game styles. I think if he had just been Andre Agassi's coach, it would be easy to
He
dismiss him.
he would get the Tony treatment.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. But I think having worked with that number of players, and even on the commentary, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. I
Yeah,
like him, but I know not everyone does. But you can tell he has a pretty great tennis mind.
he does. He wrote that book, Winning
Winning
Ugly. Yeah,
ugly,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate Brad as well. I have him as number 5. Um, I will say I understand. Well, no, 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 no. Let me correct myself. No, no, no. I do not understand why you have anyone above Richard Williams,
Fair.
but
Fair.
I could understand why you would put him as number 2.
Right.
But for me, I think that I don't know. I just feel like it's. Let me not finish this sentence because it's kind of it's kind of hard to put that sentence together because he did work with Andre Agassi, who is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah. But
Uh,
he did pick up Agassi at a little bit of an ebb.
yeah,
Agassi was struggling at that
yeah, yeah,
time, and he helped get him kind of back to the top. Now, maybe Agassi would have gotten back to the top anyway with anyone,
yeah.
but Gilbert was there. Um, and I think it's been interesting to see he's gotten like with Roddick, right? Roddick was very close,
Hmm.
and with Gilbert, he got over that hump to win a slam.
Yeah.
Coco, same
Yes,
thing,
same
right?
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Very close, got over that hump. So I think there's something in being that catalyst for that last step.
I mean, like I said, he worked with me as well when I won my first slam. But
Wait, sorry. What are you talking it's
when I won
Do you actually know
when I
Brian
won
Gilbert's?
Wimbledon, yeah, no, I don't, I don't,
Okay.
I don't know about Gilbert. No, no, no. But I think just from like his book and stuff and just hearing him talk, I think the thing about Brad is that he's not too caught up in, I hope I say this right, in like technique so
Mm,
much because his whole thing is like, hey, use the tools you have,
yeah.
use the skills you have, and it's more so about your mindset.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people on the professional tour didn't like the way he played, so I think it's very interesting that he was able to help these 3 players when they were at a certain point in their career when they were struggling. And the more we talk about it, the more I can see the value he brings as a coach. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it is interesting. He's not really associated with technical
Yeah.
change, right?
Yeah.
Like even with Coco, I
Yeah.
think he said in that brief spell,
Hmm.
nothing about her game looked any different. It
Yeah.
was just here, how do you manage these
Yes.
parts of your game
Yeah.
so that you can get over that line?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear who got Richard's spots at number 1.
So I have Bollettieri.
Okay.
And I think I put Bollettieri at 1 from this list because I think Bollettieri changed tennis.
You were looking at my notes.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think, this is not a unique opinion, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there is, wooden racket, continental grip tennis,
Mhm.
and then there is, obviously he didn't create the technology, but the Western forehand the Jimmy Arias, the Andre Agassi, the Jim
Yeah.
Courier, he was instrumental. Maybe he didn't do it single-handedly, but
Yeah.
he was instrumental, I think, in ushering in what we know as the modern game.
Yeah.
And I think obviously setting up that academy system, but you think of the players that are attached to him, right? Obviously Agassi, Courier, Monica Seles, one of my all-time faves.
Sharapova, Becker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he had some formula that developed champion.
And the way his academy was structured and designed, all of the other academies are also following that
I thought of it.
structure.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I had him as number three.
Yeah.
Um because I mean, I just felt like Tony and Richard should be above him. But no, I will say that every point that you made, you do have very compelling arguments for the positions that you took.
Thank you. They haven't
Um
changed your mind, but
um okay, if I were to reorder mine, let me see. I would still leave Richard as number one for sure. Um I would still leave Tony as number two. uh Maybe I could swap out Brad Gilbert and Rick Macy. So maybe I could put Brad as four and Rick as and Rick as five. But yeah, maybe that's as much as I would do. But in as much as you're not invited to ever come back on this podcast, I can respect the points you made. Yeah.
thank you.
So
I do think the more we talk about it, I think it is hard to compare the
yeah, it is.
parents
It is.
with just kind of like
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
coaches.
And it's also hard to like compare like who worked with players when they were juniors versus working with them when they were
As pros,
adults,
yeah.
or even working with them when they were struggling. So I guess maybe the question is, at which level is coaching most impactful for your career? Is it at the junior stage? Is it at an inflection point? Say, like maybe you have been in the wilderness for a bit and you need a fresh perspective. Like I think that could be also
Yeah,
an interesting conversation to have.
I think it's the developmental stages. I think if you don't get those fundamentals, you're not going to get to those other levels. I don't think, right? I think there are a lot of people, and there are probably a lot of people who could help people at those early stages. There are a lot,
Yeah,
but I think that, learning to hit those forehands and backhands and get
yeah.
that work ethic
Get that slice.
early on,
Yeah.
I think if you don't have the foundation, you're going to cap out somewhere far below the level of the pros, I think.
Well,
Um,
I
so wait,
agree.
can I ask, so these five names that you gave me,
Hmm.
are those your top five?
Those are my top five. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have anyone else in mind?
I was curious. I thought
Do
maybe.
not say Patrick.
Oh God, no,
Okay.
no. Oh, I shouldn't say. I just went to the Mortoglu Academy and I loved it, and I plan to go back. So hopefully Patrick isn't watching this. I loved your academy, Patrick, but I wouldn't put you in the top five. The other person that was maybe in my mind, Darren Cahill,
Okay.
because I think he's someone else who has worked with
Is
a
he
number
working
of
with Sinner
players.
right now?
He's center
He's with Sinner
now.
now.
He
Yeah.
was
Okay. Fair.
Agassi,
Mm.
he helped
Hmm.
get Simona Halep over the line. He worked with Ivanovic. So I think he's another one who's
Okay.
proven
Yeah.
different game styles, both genders.
Yeah.
He's had success.
Anyone else you would put on the list?
I think that's it. The other people, I mean, there are people who are just coaches of people that I love, but they don't have they did it with a bunch of different
Yeah. Yeah.
people. And, or
How do
maybe they don't have the profile.
how do you feel about actually, let me phrase this another way. Let's say you were a tennis superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of the great tennis players would you want as your coach? And why?
Player as my
Like a former player
coach.
to be your coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can go first. Why do you think
Yes.
about it?
Yes.
I would go with Venus.
Okay.
Because I actually follow her YouTube channel, and Venus is a really good teacher. She has a
Mm,
way of breaking things down to a granular level that you can really understand.
okay.
And I think she's just a phenomenal teacher. The other person I would probably go with is Andy Murray.
Oh, great mind,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, because I think he would be able to like teach me a lot in terms of strategy. I think like a Roger Federer or a Nadal,
They're too talented.
yeah, I feel like you can't really do what they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is not shitting on Andy Murray in any
No,
way
no.
because I mean, he's a
He's a
a
phenomenal tennis
champion,
player.
yeah.
It's
But I
phenomenal.
just feel like just the way he was able to strategize is something that I wish I could have someone teach me. So yeah, that'd be my choice.
Those are good.
Yours?
Um, it's tough. I guess it's hard for me to think about it in terms of my game. I would probably go with Stefan Edberg or maybe Patrick Rafter, but that's just
Okay.
because they were like my early faves
Yeah.
and I kind of have crushes on them. So there might be an HR situation there that I want to stay out of, but
Yeah.
and also I don't do it a lot, but I like coming to the net, and I feel maybe they could help me develop that part of my game.
So we have to probably get Martina Navratilova on your coaching
Well,
team as well.
so she's kind of my all-time fave, but I feel like she's become problematic.
Yeah.
So I just kind of have to keep that under.
Okay, I understand. But I mean,
I mean, I guess I just said it,
she is
but
really good at
yeah,
volleys. Yeah.
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 But I can't really stand for Martina these days.
All right. Well, fair enough. Robert,
Yes,
we
Joelle.
have come to the end of our time here. I want to say thank you for being a guest.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. And I will try during this week to get over you putting Tony as sorry, putting King
Richard.
Richard as number
He's number
3.
3. I mean, of all the coaches, he's 3rd from the top.
No,
That's like
no.
well, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun.
I do appreciate it. And again, to everyone who's been watching, please remember to keep watching, subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the things.
All those things.
We are available on Spotify and YouTube. And remember, even if the score is 5-love, the match is not finished until the last point is played. Right, Robert?
I like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
true.
that. It is true. Yannick Sinner